Did you know that certain plants have been revered in Buddhist traditions for centuries, not only for their spiritual significance, but also for their practical ability to repel insects naturally? Buddhist monasteries and temples have long cultivated these powerful plants, creating harmonious environments free from pests while honoring the Buddhist principle of ahimsa, non-violence to all living beings. In this video, we'll explore 7 sacred plants that effectively keep flies and mosquitoes away without harmful chemicals, while also examining their deep connections to Buddhist practices, symbolism, and teachings. Lavender, with its delicate purple flowers and soothing fragrance, holds a special place in Buddhist meditation practices, while naturally repelling flies and mosquitoes. Buddhist monasteries throughout Tibet and Nepal have cultivated lavender gardens for centuries, not just for their beauty, but for their ability to create pest-free environments for meditation. The essential oils in lavender, particularly linalool and linaloyl acetate, are offensive to insects but deeply calming to humans, embodying the Buddhist concept of duality and interconnectedness. In Buddhist tradition, lavender is associated with the crown chakra, Sahasrara, and represents spiritual awakening and transformation. Monks often plant lavender around meditation pavilions, where its scent enhances concentration and mindfulness, while naturally keeping the space free from distracting insects. This dual purpose reflects the Buddhist principle of skillful means, upaya, using practical solutions that simultaneously serve spiritual growth. To bring this Buddhist wisdom into your home, place potted lavender near entry points like doors and windows. As you tend to the plant, practice mindful awareness in the tradition of Buddhist gardening, observing your breath, being fully present with each leaf and bloom, and cultivating gratitude for the plant's protective properties. This transforms simple pest control into a spiritual practice, elevating everyday actions into opportunities for mindfulness and deeper connection with nature. Basil, the sacred protector. Basil, especially holy basil or tulsi, has been venerated in Buddhist and Hindu traditions for over 3,000 years. In Buddhist monasteries across Southeast Asia, tulsi is planted around temple entrances not only for its spiritual properties, but also for its remarkable ability to repel flies, mosquitoes, and even malaria-carrying insects. The plant contains powerful compounds like eugenol and camphor that insects find intolerable, creating a natural barrier around sacred spaces. In Buddhist symbolism, tulsi represents purification, protection, and compassion, 3 central tenets of Buddhist practice. Monasteries in Thailand and Myanmar traditionally grow tulsi in decorative pots placed at thresholds, embodying the transition from ordinary to sacred space while practically keeping insects at bay. Monks often meditate on the resilience of this plant, seeing in it a reflection of the enduring human spirit amid life's challenges. The Buddhist practice of offering tulsi leaves at shrines can be adapted into a mindful home ritual. Grow basil in your kitchen window, and as you harvest leaves for cooking or for creating natural repellent sprays, offer a silent gratitude practice in the Buddhist tradition. This transforms the utilitarian act of pest control into an opportunity for spiritual connection, bringing the ancient wisdom of Buddhist monasteries into your daily life. Mint, symbol of rebirth and renewal. Mint holds profound symbolism in Buddhist tradition as a representation of rebirth and the ever-fresh quality of the present moment. In Japanese Zen Buddhist gardens, mint is planted strategically near water features and meditation areas, where its refreshing aroma enhances mindfulness while repelling mosquitoes and flies. The menthol compounds that make mint so effective against insects also stimulate clarity and alertness during meditation. Buddhist texts speak of mint as an emblem of the beginner's mind, Shoshin, the Zen concept of approaching each moment with freshness and openness. Just as mint spreads vigorously, constantly renewing itself, Buddha taught that each moment offers a new beginning. The plant's dual nature, gentle to humans but potent against pests, embodies the Buddhist middle way, finding balance between extremes. In monasteries across Sri Lanka and parts of China, mint is crushed and infused into water used for ritual cleaning of temple floors, simultaneously purifying the space both spiritually and practically by deterring insects. You can adopt this practice by creating a mint-infused spray for your home, mindfully cleaning spaces while setting an intention of renewal and protection. Plant mint in containers around outdoor sitting areas, and as you enjoy its protection, contemplate the Buddhist teaching that every challenge contains its own solution. Lemongrass, the illumination of wisdom. Lemongrass holds special significance in Buddhist traditions throughout Southeast Asia, where it symbolizes the clear light of wisdom cutting through ignorance. Buddhist temples in Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia traditionally plant lemongrass around meditation pavilions and residential quarters, creating an environment conducive to both spiritual practice and physical comfort by repelling mosquitoes. The plant's high citronella content makes it one of nature's most effective insect deterrents. In Buddhist symbolism, the tall, straight stalks of lemongrass represent the upright ethical conduct that forms the foundation of spiritual practice. Its ability to bend without breaking in strong winds symbolizes flexibility and resilience, important qualities on the spiritual path. The bright citrus scent is associated with mental clarity and the dispelling of delusion, one of Buddhism's 3 poisons. Thai forest Buddhist monasteries have used lemongrass for centuries in alms bowl cleansing rituals, where its antimicrobial properties serve a practical purpose while symbolizing the purification of the mind. For home use, plant lemongrass in containers around patios and entryways, and as you brush against it, releasing its protective aroma, reflect on how this simple action connects you to thousands of years of Buddhist wisdom and practical knowledge about living harmoniously with nature. Marigolds, offerings of compassion and protection. Marigolds hold profound significance in Buddhist traditions across Tibet, Nepal, and parts of India, where their bright orange and yellow flowers are offered at altars and used to create sacred mandalas. Beyond their spiritual importance, marigolds contain the compound pyrethrum, a natural insecticide that effectively repels mosquitoes, aphids, and many other pests. This dual purpose made marigolds essential plants around Buddhist monasteries, where the principle of non-harm extends to avoiding chemical insecticides. In Buddhist symbolism, marigolds represent the fire of transformation and the radiance of compassion. Their circular blooms echo the Dharma wheel, Dharma chakra, symbolizing the Buddha's teachings and the cycle of rebirth. The plant's ability to protect other plants from pests is seen as a living example of the bodhisattva ideal, a being who works for the benefit of all sentient creatures. Tibetan Buddhist monasteries traditionally plant marigolds around vegetable gardens and medicinal herb plots, creating a natural protective barrier that embodies the principle of interdependence. You can bring this practice home by planting marigolds as borders around your garden or in containers near entryways. As you tend these bright flowers, you participate in a living tradition that honors the interconnectedness of all life while practically protecting your space from unwanted insects. Citronella grass, the illuminating lamp. Citronella grass holds a special place in Buddhist traditions throughout Southeast Asia, where it is known as the lamp plant for its association with illumination and awakening. Buddhist temples in Sri Lanka and Myanmar have long cultivated Citronella as a natural mosquito repellent around meditation halls and living quarters. The plant's high concentration of citronellal and geraniol creates an effective barrier against insects without causing harm, aligning perfectly with the Buddhist precept of non-violence. In Buddhist symbolism, Citronella represents the light of awareness that dispels the darkness of ignorance. Its tall, graceful form is said to embody dignity and upright conduct, while its powerful aroma symbolizes the pervasive nature of compassion that extends in all directions. Monasteries in Thailand traditionally use citronella in oil lamps during evening meditation, combining practical insect protection with spiritual symbolism. The Buddhist practice of circumambulation, pradakshina, walking mindfully around sacred objects, often takes place in gardens where citronella is planted to create comfortable, insect-free pathways for meditation. You can create your own version of this practice by planting citronella in a circular pattern around outdoor sitting areas. And as you move through this space, practice walking meditation in the Buddhist tradition, cultivating awareness with each step while benefiting from the plant's protective properties. Rosemary, memory and mindful presence. Rosemary has been integrated into Buddhist practice, particularly in Japanese Zen traditions, where its aromatic qualities enhance meditation, while its natural compounds effectively repel flies and mosquitoes. Zen gardens often incorporate rosemary near sitting areas, where its pine-like scent promotes mental clarity and its volatile oils create an invisible barrier against insects. The plant's compounds, primarily cineole and camphor, disrupt insects' ability to locate hosts while stimulating cognitive function in humans. In Buddhist symbolism, rosemary represents memory and mindful presence, the ability to remain fully aware in each moment while honoring the wisdom of the past. Zen Buddhism particularly values this plant for its ability to thrive in harsh conditions, seeing in it a living metaphor for resilience and the capacity to find beauty in simplicity. The needle-like leaves are said to represent the sharp clarity of insight meditation. Buddhist monasteries in China and Japan traditionally use rosemary as incense during certain meditations, where the aromatic smoke both purifies the air of insects and stimulates mental alertness. This practice can be adapted for home use by creating rosemary bundles that can be burned briefly in outdoor spaces before gatherings. As the protective aroma fills the air, consider it an opportunity to practice the Buddhist concept of impermanence, anicca, observing how the scent arises, permeates, and eventually dissipates, just as all phenomena do. Neem, the Buddha's tree of healing. Neem, though not as common in Western gardens, holds immense significance in Buddhist traditions across India and Southeast Asia. According to certain Buddhist texts, Siddhartha Gautama meditated under a neem tree during his spiritual journey. Beyond its spiritual connections, neem is perhaps nature's most powerful insect repellent, containing over 70 compounds that deter mosquitoes, flies, and many other pests. In Buddhist temple complexes across India, neem trees are planted around meditation halls and living quarters, providing both shade and natural pest control. The bitter compounds in neem, primarily azadirachtin, create an environment that insects actively avoid, while Buddhist tradition holds that the tree purifies negative energies and promotes healing on all levels. This dual purpose perfectly embodies the Buddhist principle of skillful means, addressing practical concerns while supporting spiritual growth. Buddhist Ayurvedic medicine which developed alongside Buddhist spiritual practices, uses neem extensively for purification and healing. Monasteries often create neem-infused waters for cleaning temple floors and living areas, effectively deterring insects while symbolically purifying the space. You can adapt this practice by growing neem in containers or using neem oil products as natural insect repellents, connecting your pest control practices to this ancient tradition of healing and non-harm. Beyond the individual properties of these 7 plants, Buddhist tradition offers a valuable approach to their cultivation through the practice of mindful gardening. In monasteries across various Buddhist traditions, the tending of plants is itself a form of meditation, an opportunity to cultivate awareness, patience, and compassion while creating environments that are naturally protected from pests. The Buddhist concept of right intention can transform your approach to pest control. Rather than viewing insects as enemies to be destroyed, Buddhist practice encourages us to seek solutions that protect our spaces while recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings. By cultivating these protective plants mindfully, you create conditions where insects naturally avoid your space without being harmed, a practical application of the principle of non-violence. Consider creating a dedicated meditation garden featuring these 7 plants arranged in a mandala pattern, a sacred geometric configuration that represents the universe in Buddhist cosmology. This mindful approach transforms simple gardening into a spiritual practice while creating a more effective insect barrier, as the plants respond to consistent, attentive care by producing more of their protective compounds. Buddhist monasteries have developed specific preparations to amplify the protective qualities of these plants, combining practical effectiveness with spiritual intention. These traditional methods can be adapted for home use, connecting your pest control practices to ancient wisdom. In Thai Buddhist tradition, monks create a protective water by steeping lavender, basil, and mint leaves in pure water under the full moon. This water is sprinkled around temple boundaries to create a purified space that insects naturally avoid. You can create your own version by combining leaves from these plants in water, setting an intention of protection, and using it to spray entryways and windowsills. Tibetan Buddhist monasteries traditionally create a balanced incense using elements from 5 protective plants, typically including rosemary and lemongrass, to purify spaces of both negative energies and insects. For home use, create dried bundles of these protective herbs that can be briefly burned to cleanse the air before outdoor gatherings. The Buddhist concept of the mandala, a sacred geometric pattern representing wholeness, informs planting arrangements in monastery gardens. Create a circular arrangement with marigolds forming the outer protective circle, mint and basil in the middle ring, and lemongrass or citronella as the center point. This not only maximizes pest protection, but also creates a sacred space for outdoor meditation. Buddhist monks perform specific rituals when tending protective plants, including reciting mantras or sutras that enhance the plant's vitality. While watering these plants, you might practice reciting a simple phrase like, "May all beings be free from suffering," infusing your pest control practice with compassionate intention. These traditional Buddhist approaches recognize that effectiveness comes not just from the physical properties of the plants, but from the consciousness and intention with which they are cultivated and used, a holistic understanding that unites spiritual practice with practical applications. The Buddhist approach to these 7 powerful plants offers more than just chemical-free pest control. It provides a pathway to transform a mundane household concern into an opportunity for deeper connection with ancient wisdom and spiritual practice. By incorporating these plants into your home and garden with mindfulness and intention, You participate in a living tradition that stretches back thousands of years to the earliest Buddhist monasteries. This approach embodies the essence of Buddhist philosophy, finding the middle way that honors all life while creating conditions for human well-being. Rather than declaring war on insects with toxic chemicals, these plants allow you to gently redirect them away from your living spaces, respecting their right to exist while protecting your own comfort and health. As you implement these natural solutions, consider how they reflect the core Buddhist teachings. In this way, something as simple as planting lavender by your doorway or growing basil on your windowsill becomes a thread connecting you to an ancient lineage of wisdom, a small but meaningful step on a path of greater harmony with the natural world. I hope this video has helped you discover the profound connections between these protective plants and Buddhist traditions. If you found value in these ancient approaches to pest control, please subscribe to our channel and share your experiences in the comments below. How have you incorporated these or other plants into your home for natural protection? Has mindful gardening become a spiritual practice for you? We'd love to hear your stories as we build a community dedicated to natural living and ancient wisdom. Until next time, may your home be peaceful, your garden mindful, and your relationship with all beings harmonious.